Okay. I see some dads out there. Happy Father's Day, guys. You know, it's a treat and April and I really had a treat today because my two of my three boys, one's almost 3 or 4 hours away, but two of the three and my dad and my sister joined us for brunch. And my dad's going to be 89, so you never know how many you got left of Father's Days. So it was really, really nice to have all of us together and do that. So, and my sons are great because they have to travel in to do that. And, they did. So it was a good day. So happy Father's Day to everybody out there. And you're in for a treat tonight. I got a few announcements for you, but if you don't have a pen and paper, you're definitely going to want to take some notes tonight. April's going to be training on inviting using your phone. And, the one thing I want to share with you, and I don't want to steal her thunder or take anything away from her training, but most of you realize we've been doing cold market advertising in, various areas, be it social media or whatever it might be. And the one thing that I have heard a lot from the cold market or the leads that we have gotten is how appreciative they were that a real person called them when they responded, that they didn't get a robocall, they didn't get some automated stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. We all use whatever we use to build the business. There's nothing negative about any of that, but they were greatly appreciative that they got to
I did
speak
not going on my ear.
to Marge. I just wanted to mute you. If you're not muted, please make sure you are. But the one common denominator, as I was saying, is people were very, very appreciative to talk to a real person. Okay. So, it's really easy to just send a text. It's really easy to just send an email. But I'll tell you, the only way that you will ever feel the pulse of the person and what's going on is being on the phone. You can't tell where anybody is from a text, okay? You can't tell where they are from an email, but you can certainly tell where they're at if you're talking to them on the phone. So April's got a great training lined up for that. So let me make some announcements here and then I will turn it over to April. So let me share my screen. Okay. So again, happy Father's Day. Um, just a reminder, and most of we do this once a month, that live opportunity meeting Zoom that we do once a month, okay, is a week from tomorrow. Okay, so it's Monday night, June 23rd, a week from tomorrow. And I have a slide for that I'll go to in a second. But, as far as inviting people to see what you're doing and what it's all about, there really isn't anything better you can do than have them attend and watch a live Zoom. And you've heard me say this before, but to me, it looks on a Zoom, it looks like the Hollywood Squares, the old, and there's actually new Hollywood Squares, but the old Hollywood Squares. And the thing that is so important, and it's like the phone call that I was talking about, they are participating in a live event. And for those of you that maybe are sports fans, there's a dramatic difference between watching the sporting event live and watching the replay of it later. And our opportunity presentations or Zoom, it's the same thing. The live event is so much better than the replay. Can you imagine? I mean, having the opportunity to be at the Super Bowl or watch it 3 hours after the game's over. See, two totally different things. So I'm gonna remind you the tools available there, but just another reminder that please register for Dallas. That's a big, big, big event. That's where we all get together. October 23, 4, 5. And then the one thing, I don't know if I said this last week or not, but please register for July 12th, the virtual Zoom that corporate is doing. It's free. Okay, probably an hour and a half long. It's going to be a layout of everything corporate is doing business wise and the direction they want us consultants to be going in. Or probably be announcing a new trip that, there's a lot of new stuff that they'll announce, but the Zoom is free, but you have to register for it to get the link. So if you haven't, please register for it today or first thing in the morning when you get up. And then the other thing, as I said, April's doing the training tonight. So let me cover a couple things here and then I'm going to give it to April. So the Momentum Academy in Dallas is now, and I'm updating this weekly, so it's 130 days away. Okay. I know that seems like, oh, Bobby, it's 4 months away. You'd be amazed at what can happen to airplane ticket prices and hotel room prices as that 130 days becomes 100 and then 50 and then 30 and then all of a sudden it's, oh my God, what's going on? So please get yourself registered for that as soon as you can. You know how much fun we have when we all get together. You all know it. You've been there. We were in Utah, just a month or so ago, and it's a blast. So anyway, these are the names. Nothing's changed from last week, so I did not get a chance to add anybody new as of yet, but hopefully next week we'll have some new people registered for the events. Okay. So you should have this. This is for the June 23rd. Okay, 1 week from tomorrow. Just so, and I know we have some newcomers on here. I saw George log in. I saw Isaac log in. There's new people on tonight. The Zoom link at the bottom here and the Zoom ID number, it's always the same. Okay, there'll always be a new invite with the date and stuff each month when we do it, but it's the same. If you're going to be posting it for cold market on social media, use the invite to the left. Do not put the Zoom number on there. You make them ask you for it. Okay. And that way you give it to an individual person. What does that do? That helps prevent spamming and people popping in and doing rude or crude things on a Zoom when, we don't want it to go on. So just now for the one on the right, which has the Zoom number, obviously that's for your warm market, people people you've been talking to, and you just send that right to them. The one in the middle with the type, that always has the live link in that, and I make sure that they have a live link the day of the event, just in case for some reason they just don't know how to get onto Zoom. Okay, I know that sounds crazy, but it happens. So anyway, with that, I already covered this. I'm going to stop this share. And April, it's all yours.
All right. Well, happy Father's Day to everyone. I'm going to go ahead and
Happy
share my
Father's Day to all the
slides.
dads.
All the dads. Yes, of course, all the dads. It's kind of our text message that we sent out today. Really, just how important the man of the house is. And so lucky that we have ours, that we have you anyway. So anyway. So
well, you let me think I'm in charge, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk about inviting by phone. And this is, I'm going to tell you, this is a training that I saw. And it's so weird how this happened. It kept popping up in my YouTube. It's actually a training that Eric Worre did. And when I looked at what he did, so much, and I'm not sure I copied him or he copied me, whatever, but so much of our lingo was the same.
Identical.
Yeah. And Bobby hears me more than anybody. So much of it was the same. So I'm going to go through the training, as I do it, in my words. I did put the link for the YouTube in the comments in the chat. So if you want to go ahead and grab that, you can just go to see where the link is. There's a little dot next to it. If you press the dot, it says copy. It's on your computer now. So either put it in your notes, put it in your messenger, email it to yourself if you want that link, so you'll have it there. And I'll make sure I put this in Team Unity after we're done too, or below this training. I'll put these links so you don't have to worry about really copying it now. But this is an important skill. If you can learn this, it will take a lot of the emotion out of calling your warm market, people you know, people you just met, cold market. It doesn't matter who you're calling. It's these phone skills that will help you get the results that you want when we're introducing our company, our products to other people. So one of the things that he didn't say is, and I didn't look at the date on when that video was. It was so weird that it kept popping up. It just made me click on it. But if you normally text a person, which I got to tell you, 99% of my texts, even to my good friends, my tennis, my kids, is, people will say, do you have 5 minutes, or can I give you a call now or something? So I guess it's become politically correct to text before you call a person to see if they're available, even though they would say absolutely. So if you're used to texting a person, just say, hey, can I give you a call? Can I have 5 minutes? Time is so important to people, particularly when you get into business. And this goes way back to us when we did all these doctor programs and stuff. We would only ask for 5 minutes. That intro was always 5 minutes. So, if you can let people know that you're just asking for a few minutes, you'll get a lot more people to agree to give you 5 minutes. The big fear is you get on the phone and somebody's going to keep you there forever. So, okay. So this is step one by inviting. Again, we're busy. We have a lot of people to talk to. There needs to be a sense of urgency and hurry in the thing you're doing. So in order to overcome this, again, and this isn't what he says, but what I think is every time I get on the phone with somebody, I have a goal for that phone call. That goal may to be lunch plans. It may be to see a tool, an overview, a product video, maybe invite to the launch for next Monday night, our business overview. I always have a goal for every call. I get on, maybe very little chit chat in the beginning. I put my goal out there and I get off. There's a lot of danger when you spend too much time talking to one person. One, maybe they don't have the time and they stop listening to you. Two, they wonder, do you have anything else going on in your life that you can spend so much time on the phone? Three, even worse, I've heard people say terrible things, go into bringing up things that they had no idea what they were bringing up as far as the business in a negative way. So again, value your time, value their time. Don't stay on the phone forever, and do let them know it's not going to take a lot of time, that you've only got a few minutes and you've got things to do, because again, we're all just so busy. So first is, we're in a hurry, got a few minutes. 5 minutes is what I ideally like to. Step two, and again, because you may be working and stuff, but step two is compliment them. Think of something to compliment them on. If you already know them, it's easy. I like your smile. You're always so friendly. You're so outgoing. Oh my goodness, you know everyone. You're the fittest person in the room. Send a compliment out. It kind of just opens up them so that they can hear you better. People love compliments. And, it's one of the sad things in the world today. We don't get a lot of compliments. We get a lot of criticism, but we don't get a lot of compliments. So definitely do that. Give them a compliment. That's step two. And there's really only 5 steps, but I'll make it super easy with you. Step three is making the invite or the tool. There's 3 different types, and you've heard Bobby and I talk about that. There's 3 different types of people and ways that you're going to invite them. The next one's going to be a very direct approach to somebody that you've had a conversation with. Could be a girlfriend. We've been looking to lose weight. I finally found something that's going to help us lose weight. We've been looking to start a business together. I found something that we can do together. I've always loved your positive attitude. I'd love to be in business with you. These are the things that you're going to say to people to get their attention. But this is only a very direct approach. You never want to take somebody that, is heavy. I can tell you funny stories. When we got involved with our first company, we had a weight loss product. And, it worked so well, but you just couldn't help being in a store looking at it. absolute stranger who was overweight and just thinking, I'm just going to tell them they're fat and they need this product. I mean, it was just so you can't be that direct with people. People, don't like it. So if you've been good friends, you guys have shared woes, you've shared something that's of concern to you, you can bring it up that way. But this is not a lot of people, and people do not like their problem, whatever it is, money, time, weight loss, sickness, they don't like it thrown in their face. So again, you have to have some kind of rapport relationship, have talked about this. The other way that this works is, and this is what I do a lot of, I probably do a lot of step 1 and 3, Bobby does too, and I'll explain what I mean by that. If I'm out and somebody says to me, I don't, my skin is getting old, or, I wish I could do something about these wrinkles, or, whatever's going on, I always say, I might have something that could help you. Would you be open to taking a look at a video? I say that a lot to people. It's a great way for me to get people's number, and I send them a quick video, on collagen or whatever product I might be talking about, if we're talking about opportunity, whatever. So again, I might have something that will help you. Would you be open to taking a look at a short video? So I say that a lot. So again, this is when you have the problem and the problem's really clear, and exactly, and they know, you both kind of agreed that you both know that the problem is out in the air, it's out in the open, and everybody kind of knows about the problem. So that's the direct approach. The indirect approach, sorry, that piece is out. Anyway, so the indirect approach is, I'm super excited about this. I want you to, and you need to be careful with this. I want you to do me a favor and take a look at this. He kind of goes on to say, ask for help. I don't like to really ask for the person's help per se, so that they're going to judge what I'm doing. I've already made my decision. I know what I'm doing. I'm excited about this, and I'm kind of sharing this with you. So, and the way that you do this is kind of like it's, just an invite to them to take a look at, which is ideal for our Zoom next week. You can see here, I wrote for next Monday night, the business overview. I'd love to catch up with you, is what I normally do. I catch up with them. Hey, how you doing? But then, hey, the reason I called and I let them know is I'm excited about a new business I've started, and I want you to take a look at it. Would you give me 30 minutes next Monday night? So if you've got any kind of rapport with them, yeah, they're going to do this for you. They absolutely are going to do it. So, this is the way to get them to look at something without, I don't really like to ask their opinion. He goes opinion, analysis, some things, to me, I've already made my opinion. I'm wanting to share something with you. I'm not asking so much for your opinion. So, but you can go any which way you want. But I think the next one is the one that Bobby and I probably use the most. And he says it's the super indirect. And I'll tell you, it's a takeaway for us. A lot of times when you talk to somebody, they may think, and they don't know much about our business. That's the hardest thing about our business, is people really don't understand it. They don't know it. A lot of times people think maybe it's selling a product. They think they know what a pyramid is. They think they know all these things, but they don't really understand what's going on behind the scenes, behind the curtains. So they have no idea. But if you've got somebody that's super, influential, has a big ego, which, is most people, use the takeaway approach. And, it's something about, and it doesn't matter who it is, there's something about when you take something away from somebody and say, this isn't for you, but do you happen to know, or who do you know? You've heard us say that before. Who do you know? The minute you take it away from somebody, that's when they want it. And it's, you can do it quite by accident. I've gotten people on the phone that I've met, and maybe I decided after talking to them for a while, I really don't want them. They have no computer skills. Maybe they talk to, I don't know what it is. Whatever I don't like about them, I just don't like, and I don't want to be in business with them. So then you try to say that this is not for them. Well, they become like glue to you. I mean, the more you push them away, the more they want what you're doing. So this really works. But, it's simply about saying, you're too busy. I know you make too much money, but who do you know? Who can you help me with in this area? It's funny, even weight loss, you could call somebody up and say, hey, I know you don't need to lose weight, but do you know anybody that does? Can you help me out with that? And right away, it could be the thinnest girl, 100 pounds, and she'll say, me, I need the product, So this works so well if you just phrase it right to the person, and, just looking for their help with who they might know as far as contacts. it could be a doctor, it could be anybody, just somebody that's got a lot of contacts and stuff. Because again, this business is all about networking. It's all about the contacts. And the more contacts you can have in your funnel, the better you're going to be. So, you can say to them, you might know people that are unhappy with their job and your friends, or, somebody that needs to make more money, somebody that needs to put kids through college, somebody that needs a retirement plan, and you just say, I'll make it worth your time. And, that's all you have to say to the person. And, it is so easy to sign somebody up super cheap, let them get involved, and then sign the person below them, if that's the way they want to go. Or maybe you just take them to lunch. Sometimes successful people just want to be around you and want to spend some time, enjoy your company or whatever, or you send them some treats to the office or whatever. You figure out something that's right for you. But this takeaway works at all levels. And this is one that really you should work on a lot with people, particularly if you don't know them that well. And I always kind of do the flip here. Let's say somebody's in, and please, I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes with this one, but let's say they're in the real estate market. And I think we can all relate to that, because the real estate market goes up and it goes down, it goes up and down. So let's say it's in a downtime and sales are kind of stagnant. They're not selling a lot at this point. I might say to them, I know real estate is just booming. You must be killing it right now with all the sales. And then the next sentence, they unload and tell you how bad it is. Now you have a point to be able to launch your opportunity with them and invite them to take a look at it. So again, it's always that takeaway. That's why I'm not even saying super indirect. It's a takeaway approach. Do the opposite. If it's somebody that works a lot of time, I might say, you must have a lot of time freedom. You can make your own hours, go whenever you on vacation, whenever you want. And they'll be like, I am a slave to my job. I can't even take a vacation without the overhead killing me and this and that. That's a lot of doctors. A lot of doctors are kind of chained to their practice because, when they take a vacation, the vacation costs them money. They're not making any money while they're on that vacation. They still have to pay their staff, the insurance, the overhead, all the difference there. So it's like a triple effect when they want to go on vacation. So, these are some ways that you can bring this to them. And, this clicks away even while you're on vacation. I mean, you could be gone for, we went to South Africa or whatever. Our business didn't miss a beat. It just kept on. The auto ships went out and the money was there every day. Bobby still checked every day to make sure volume was going on and stuff. Nothing changed. It didn't matter that we were out of the country or on vacation or anywhere. So this approach works really, really well with people also. Now I'm coming up to the best part soon. We're getting through all this, and I know you've heard a lot of this too. So this is another critical line. There's a few sentences. If you could really get it down, if I, would you? If I sent you a tool, if I sent you an invite, would you join me? Would you watch it? Would you use the product? Whatever it is. So if I sent you a video, would you watch it? Okay. If I invite you to a three-way call, and I wouldn't even use three-way, if I invite you to get on a call with my business partner, would you take that call? So it's always if I, would you. If you can get that down, Pat, you'll find that the yeses too will flow in, and you're just being really direct with people, and they know exactly what you're asking for, and they're also making the commitment to do what you're asking. You're not kind of leaving it up in the air or anything. So if I, would you? Okay. So once they say yes, if I sent you a video, would you watch it? You need to wait for the answer. You can't answer for them. So make sure you're waiting for the answer. It doesn't matter when they say it. They could say, next week, next month, next year. It really doesn't matter, because this is when you're going to do your follow-up and not before. So the cool thing about this is, if they can't get to it, maybe they're on vacation, they can't get to it for a week, you're not trying to call them through that week. You've both kind of agreed that you're busy for a week. Maybe, they're taking a course or an exam. Who knows what's going on, but they're unavailable, and you're not driving yourself crazy wondering why they're not replying yet. So it's a really good thing to always pin down the time of when somebody is going to be able to watch it. You're also getting them to make their commitment that they've agreed to watch it. So if I send you the video and they said they'd watch it Tuesday afternoon, I'd say, great. Would it be good for us to talk Tuesday night? Are you open to talking Tuesday night? So, and they'll either say, no, Tuesday night's not good. How about Wednesday? And I'll say, great. Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon. I'm pinning down the time that they're going to be available. So we're making another appointment, kind of an unofficial, but it is an official appointment. But then I'm going to go two more steps further, particularly depending on how well I know them or not know them. I'm certainly going to pin down the time. So if this like says, they say Tuesday evening, I'll say, and we agree on Tuesday evening, I'll say, all right, Tuesday evening around 7 o'clock. Does that work for you? I'm getting another yes. So I got a yes to watch the video. We kind of agreed on a time, an evening time. I'm agreeing on a 7 p.m. And then I'm going to triple check to make sure that we're on the same time zone. Anybody ever book a call for you're on East and they're on Central, they're on West? I mean, it gets really confusing in this business. So, make sure that you're on the right time zone, that you know exactly what time zone they're in, so that the 7 o'clock is the 7 o'clock. So now we're going to get into the fun stuff. And this happens to all of us, so they're not there. You call them up and they're not there. So fine, no worries. Life happens. Can you watch it tomorrow? Or when can you watch it? So again, they'll say, great, morning, afternoon, evening. It really doesn't matter. They say afternoon. So you say, great. If I call you tomorrow evening, you will have watched it for sure. We're making them make another promise. People don't like to break promises. So if you've left it open, you have no idea, it's not on their mind to watch it. So we're going to say, you're going to watch it for sure. They'll say yes. Again, we'll go through the same thing. What time tomorrow? 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock works for me. I'll call you at 7. You'll have watched it by then for sure, right? And they'll say yes. So we've agreed on all this, and it's just kind of repetitive is all we're doing with this. If they still haven't watched it, we're going to do it again. One more time. We'll go through it and set a time and say, for sure, you definitely are going to watch it, right? So you kind of making them make the promise. They never really go more than 2 times. They're either going to start to go one of 2 ways. They're going to ghost you, or they will have watched it. So you're already coming to a crossroad that's pretty cool. So a lot of times they will have watched it, and then you'll ask them, what'd you love best about it? But that's not even what we're talking about here. But if they had ghosted you anywhere along the way, I was just calling to ask because you asked me to give you a call, after you saw the video. You promised you'd see the video. So that's kind of the message that you're going to say there. I was just calling like you asked. I hope everything's okay, please. And I always say, give me a call as soon as you get this. I don't like to say, like he says, convenient. I'm not, it's not convenient. You get the text message and I want you to call me now. I don't want you to say when it's convenient, because that doesn't mean anything. So if you give people instruction on what to do, you will get better results. So I always say, when you get this, give me a call. So when you see this message, when you get it, give me a call. So the next message would be, hey, John, I'm confused. I was just calling like you said. I hope everything is okay. Please give me a call when you get this message. So again, you see, this isn't really, it's not, I'm not being mean, they're maybe ghosting me a little. They're feeling awkward. I'm not feeling awkward because I'm just doing what we agreed upon as we go along. But this is where I really loved it, where he flipped it. And this I thought was great. The next text message he sends is just a question mark. So this is where people really, it starts to bother people. I mean, they haven't gotten back to you. They've ghosted you. Now they're thinking a question mark. What does this mean? So if they still don't get an answer, this is what he does. 2 question marks, which I think is brilliant. I think this is awesome. And I just love the end of this. And, I shared this with a lot of people the last few days because this has been super cool. And I've been loving this because some of this, like I said, a lot of this is what I do along the way. But then this is exactly how I do it too, and it's funny because I'll take my sheet and I just put a big slash through it and said, hey, John, I'm confused. I'm worried, but this will be my last call, or I forget what's the other thing I say. oh, I forget what I say, but I won't call again unless you let me know what the problem is. There's a few different things that I might say along this way. But again, it's like, hey, I'm not going to call you again. I hope everything's okay. And, if you want to call me, give me a call. If not, no worries, type thing. So, this is good too, because it's leaving it on them. It's not on you. You've done your job of sharing the information as best you can. And, if they're going to be weird, we all have friends. We've got a good family member that the texting is one way when they want it. So we all know those people, so it's on them, and they've been labeled that horrible person that doesn't respond and stuff, but that's okay. We don't care. We've wiped them off our slate. They're no longer on our active call list. We don't have to follow. We don't even have to think about them, because we've given them enough time to be able to get back to us. And the one thing we know about this business and this industry, we would not get paid so well if everybody could do this. If this was easy and everybody could do it, everyone would be doing it. But, once we learn our skills, this does become easy. I mean, this is a simple business. The people side of it can be a little confusing at times, but that's why we get paid the big bucks. So as soon as you could just let this stuff fall off your shoulder, the better you will be. But I loved the question marks. I don't know about you guys. Did you love the question marks? That was not part of my end, Oh, I know what I would say. A lot of times in this place, I would just say, I don't know where to go from here. Give me a call if you're interested, type thing, and just leave it in the air, or I just don't know where to go from here. So because I've done my part, I've done what I've said I would do. They didn't do what they would said they'd do. So that's the training. I've got two more things to share with you quickly. Okay, those of you that are aware, this is our Club Fast Lane. The company's got the promotion, and Fred, I don't know who in your group is. I should have asked you to share that, but we've got, I think, 5 now. And Catalina, congratulations. A lot of them are in your group. These 2 ladies are. But anyway, so if you've done 400 in sales volume, you are available for the big surprise next month that we don't know what it is. So just for fear of loss, have your 400, so it's got to be 400 new sales volume. Everybody keeps asking, like, I know, I have no idea. In fact, I brought it up on the hub.lifevantage says, do your 400, and the surprise is coming. So we don't know what it is. So anyway, that's them. Kenneth, Dee's on here. Angelina, they're all doing a really, really great job. Congratulations to them. And we're excited. And I know there'll be more this week, so we keep adding. So I think Dee was either Kenneth or Dee were first. 5-6 days into the month, they had it done. So they were super fast. So congrats. Okay. So this is the last thing. Again, I put this link in the chat. If you don't know how to grab it out, I'll put it under the training once we put it in the training group, Team Unity Wins. But the company now has a board site. If you're not familiar with Boards is an app. Okay, and it's pretty cool because everything goes in one place. So you're going to see like the hub, instead of going to hub.lifevantage.com, it's in the board. So you go to your phone and you'll look for LifeVantage. You should have probably gotten maybe an email, or if it's in the group, but again, I'll put it there so you have it. But you can see everything will be there. Before and afters will be there. A lot of the videos will be there. Any of their podcasts will be there. There's so much stuff. So people like Boards because everything is in one place. It accepts the texting, the pictures, the videos, everything can be there. So again, I'll put that under our training so that you can take a look at that later. And again, I think that will help with a lot of any promos will be in there. Any confusion can be there as well. So, I'm going to stop this. Oh, there we go. Okay, we're back. So I hope that was good for you all and that you like that. So I think if you can handle or come used to doing those kind of calls and get that down pat, some of those words, life will be easy. And I can tell you, when I'm learning a new skill or something, there's literally stickies in my office right below and stuff. So makes it easier so I can remember the verbiage. Yes. All right.
Post-its are great. Are you good?
Yep.
Good?
We're good.
Good. Okay. We're going to finish up. Everything that first of all, this whole training will be posted in the normal spots, the Messenger group and the Facebook group and stuff. If anyone is not friends with April, just friend her so she can be adding you to the group. You guys know I'm not on Facebook, so not my choice. I'm just not there. So just friend April Wagner. You know what she looks like. Her picture's in there. There's not a million April Wagners, so she's easy to find. But I can't say enough for two things. The phone is so powerful. We all love to text, but you'll never get the feeling of where the person's at unless you're talking to them on the phone. That is where you just that's where they and it's too much to text to get somebody to open up and let you know what's what. There's too much texting, so you never get the feel. So even though we're in a modern world and we all like to do social media and text and chats and all that stuff, do not eliminate the telephone, because that is still, when a person says, yes, I'm going to join, it was a phone call that you had with them. It wasn't a text message. It wasn't something else. It was a phone call. So don't ever discount that. Um, the other thing is, people are going to start on their own time frame. So even after you've gone through, and again, Eric Worre's got like a 12-minute version or 15 minutes of what April just did. April's been doing it longer than Eric, that's for sure. Eric just takes other people's material and makes his own video. He hasn't recruited anybody in 30 years. But what's really neat is that people start with us in this business, when the timing is right for them. And even though we want them to start by the end of the month because we have incentives and things going on, so we're always trying to get things closed up by the end of the month, it's important that they stay in your funnel and there's some sort of dripping going on, a drip campaign of some sort going on, because they're going to start when the need is serious enough, okay, or the desire is serious enough. That's when they're going to start. And you want to make sure that you've been dripping, or they get started with someone else's thing. And I don't necessarily mean LifeVantage. I mean, there's just a lot of different things to do out there. And, you want them to join you because you've been consistent and persistent and continued to drip, but not badger them, okay, or drive them crazy. So, anyway, the second thing is, if you really want to relaunch your business or launch it for the first time, a week from tomorrow is the time to do it. The invite is out there, and you just need to get it out there and then confirm that people are going to join us. We got room for 500 on next Monday's call. So it's not like if you show up with 50 people, we can't accommodate it. We can. So if you want to relaunch, let's say we're at the midway point of 2025, maybe you did it in January for a New Year's thing. Well, use next Monday night to do it again. Okay, because you know what? Over the last 6 months, people's lives changed in some way, shape, or form, and they're mentally in a different place on June 23rd than they were on January 1st. So it's never a bad time to relaunch and do it again. But anyway, anything else, April? I hate going over 30 minutes, but I know you had that training.
Nope.
Okay, the links will be posted shortly. Worre's link will be posted shortly. If you didn't get it in the chat, don't worry. It'll be out there in a second. And the board's link. April, you get both of those posted in the regular places?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All righty. Again, one last time, happy Father's Day to the daddies out there, and thank you all for wishing me one. I appreciate it. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Good night, everyone.
Same
Bye-bye.
to you, Bob. Thank you, April. Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.